Well, hello there. Welcome. It is 7 p.m. here in the UK. It's 11 a.m. on the west coast of the United States. 2 p.m. on the east, if my mathematics is correct. And it's a sweet 8 o'clock in the evening if you're in Central Europe. And wherever you might be in the world, whatever time it is, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Very Truman Show there. Welcome to the show. And it is episode 242. I suppose if we were doing a numbers thing, this would be an episode about Front 242, the industrial EDM band. But we've got something way better, way better. We've got a great show for you today. Something exclusive, something really exciting. And we'll come to that in just a moment. Before we do, though, let me first get the housekeeping stuff out of the way before I introduce our co-hosts and guests. First of all, usual YouTube thing, give us a like, give us a comment if you want to, whether it's in the comments below the video or if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, you can comment in the chat. Facebook also, you can comment in the chat and we'll see those come through live in the show. But if you're watching after the show and you want to leave us a message, ask a question, do so in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, do subscribe to the channel because that makes sure that you don't miss anything. Hit the little bell and that gets you a notification, and you won't miss any of these live shows and any of the other bits and bobs that we do in between, which isn't much, but we're hoping to change that in the coming year. And if you know somebody that would really like to watch this show, but they don't know about it, share it with them. Please do share the link. But also during the show, if you like what you're watching, like us during the show, because I'm told it makes a difference. So give us a thumbs up during the show, and that would be really appreciated. Showing your support. And another way you can show your support, of course, is by supporting us on our Patreon channel, patreon.com/Pro Synth Network. We are putting content up all the time. We put a new exclusive video up there just the other day of James Dyson showing us his GX80 sound set. And so come and join us there. Subscribe. It's a minimum $2 a month. Of course, you can send us more. Also, that is replicated on YouTube, where you can become a YouTube member for just $2 a month or more, and you get all of the free stuff and all of the access to all of that stuff at the same time. So that's a couple of ways you can support us, and of course, the latest way that you can support us is via our merchandise store. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in case you hadn't noticed, in case I hadn't said it enough,
shameless.
We are absolutely shameless. We have merchandise, and here it is. Here's the merchandise store. You can buy all sorts of goodies there. Oh, they've got the cookie message there. Let's get rid of those. So we've got mugs and t-shirts. We've put up the AI t-shirts this week. Little cartoon characters of myself, Kent and Andrew, with little catchphrases underneath. You can have those in various colours as well. What else have we got in there? We've got those images on mugs. So if you like to sip your coffee with a Pro Synth Network mug, you can do that. There's the thermal insulated tumbler, which is top of my list because my one's got a big dent in it. We've got our Woody shirts. We've got our Christmas jumpers, although I think today was the last day. It might be. Actually, let me just double check that because no, you've got until tomorrow for express shipping. You will have to pay the extra for the express shipping, but they guarantee delivery before Christmas Eve. So if you want a Pro Synth Network Christmas jumper, you can do that and get it in before tomorrow. And there's dresses, there's mouse mats, there's laptop sleeves, there's pet collars. There's the Justin Have You vest top. Look at that. In honor of one of our favorite audience members who's always wearing vest tops, we decided to name it the Justin Have You vest top. Button badges, stickers, hats, all sorts of stuff. Fill your boots. It's Christmas. Treat the one you love with some Pro Synth Network merch. How shameless is that? Anyway, that's a great way to support us because we do get a little slice of that, and that helps keep us on the air. And of course, you can follow us on all of the social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. For some strange reason, we're there as well. If you have a question for us or our guests today, please preface it with a big capital Q. That way we can spot it and stick it in the question bucket, and we'll pull it out and ask it at the appropriate time. And I believe that is all of the housekeeping stuff. So let's hurry up and bring in first of my co-presenters, Mr. Kent Spong. Yeah. Hello, sir. Oh, elevated camera position today. You're muted. There we go. There we go.
You muted me.
Well, yeah, because your headphones are feeding back through the microphone, you see.
You'll be glad to hear I've ordered new headphones that are sealed backed. Okay.
At last. Thank you.
You are most welcome.
Yeah, so we get a nice view of the CS80 there in all its glory.
Oh.
And, of course, the M8X. And is that a TR8 to your right?
TR8, yeah.
Yeah, not the S, because you...
Just before the S come out. Yes. No, I've had a really weird day today.
Oh, yeah?
I finished both of the Oberheim OB8 voices.
Mm-hmm.
They're both done because apparently they're going on Tuesday.
Oh wow!
Thanks for telling me now. And I had a customer who dropped off a Juno, and we just got chatting. He was very interested in the dogs, and it turns out his name's Max. It turns out he's the guy in the Fenton video.
Oh, the dog's chasing.
That was his dog.
No way.
Him running across Richmond Park.
I remember that. Was it Fenton? Was it? It was like New Year's Day or something, and they were taking their dogs for a walk across.
It's done about 200 million hits or whatever.
Oh my word!
And it was him.
Wow.
Yeah. I said, do you still get any sort of like buzz about that? He goes, every single day.
It's the price of being.
Every time we come out of my flat, there's somebody going,
Fenton
on the other side of the road.
For those that have been living under a rock for the last 20 years, there is a great video on YouTube where a dog loses control. A man loses control of his dogs chasing wild deer somewhere in Surrey, isn't it?
It's Richmond Park.
Richmond Park. That's
the Queen's deer.
That's it, the Queen's deer, and it was caught chasing, and it was absolutely hilarious. Anyway, thank you, Kent. Good to see you, mate, and glad the 8 voices are now complete and done, and will be out of your way. Let's cross over to Mr. Andrew Longhurst. Welcome, sir. Hopefully with improved quality of microphone.
Yes, do tell me in the chat if you can hear me. That would be good. That would be good. I've rewired
you sound
the studio
good.
today.
You sound fine in my ears, but yeah, you've rewired everything.
Rewired everything. I've got something on my chin.
And you're looking a bit clearer as well. I think that's your new
4K camera. I've done a whole bunch of stuff. So, and I've, there we go.
Cool.
So, all good. I'm all good.
Excellent.
It's been a good week. But you know what I really want to know?
Go on.
If I wanted to learn how to use this, because I don't. I've got no idea.
Not a clue. Not a clue.
Who could I turn to?
I don't know. Maybe we could possibly turn to one of our very special guests. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a dear, dear friend of the show. We are always so honoured and just so excited when he comes on the show. He is probably the biggest synthesizer YouTube sensation of the last, couple of years. He's our friend. He's your friend. He is the one and the only Mr. Dante Marinelli.
Yay!
Yay.
Oh, I thought you meant me.
I could do cheers now.
Hey.
There we go. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for that introduction. I love the show. Thank you guys so much.
No, thank you for coming on, because you've got some exciting news which we'll come to shortly. But before we do that, how have you been? What have you been up to aside from the thing that we're going to be talking about? Anything fun and interesting going on in the world of Mr. Marinelli?
Yeah. Well, I just finished completing a new studio. So now there's the synth room, and then we have the live room where we can do live performances.
Oh, wow.
Acoustic instruments, but also with like synthesizers through amplifiers, and just like record like the 70s style. Because I often forget this as well, but the owner's manuals of synthesizers back in the 70s and even early 80s included like running your synth through the speaker to show you how to get sound.
Yeah.
So we've kind of gone back to that, like putting the synthesizers to the speakers, and it's just a big open space, and we record the drums. And so there's recordings coming out that I could reveal a little bit later in this video if you want, with some superstars that came in and did some jams on some really vintage synths.
Wow.
And a few other things. And then we've got some big videos coming out this week. and then the special thing that you're allowing us to break on this show for the first time.
Well, thank you. I mean, the honor is all ours. But not only do we have two people with surnames that end in ELLI, we have a third one, a fellow Italian. This is, I met this guy at Super Booth. He's just so cool. But then so is his dad, Dante Marinelli, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, how are you?
Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure
I'm
to have
great.
you, sir. Where are you upstairs in the same house, or are you in a different building, or what? What's going on there?
No, I'm in a different building. I'm next to Universal Studios, and
Okay.
I'm up in my loft, my studio, my editing bay.
Nice.
My
So-
kids are falling off the payroll. Just want to throw that in. He's a very successful producer and does his own thing, so it's all good.
Yeah. Well, because I was going to say, Dante, you do a lot of work for your dad in terms of the YouTube channel. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you get up to.
Yeah, I mean, we run the YouTube channel together. We always brainstorm on late night phone calls, and I produce and edit and run the social media and just keep the boat afloat.
Awesome stuff. Well, I mean, I do a bunch of stuff here, but I do have help from all the other guys. It's a difficult, tough job to sort of keep on top of it all. So I'm sure your dad's very happy to have you on board.
It was his idea, just to let you know, it was his idea just to do some support stuff for that Stories in the Room thing that I was doing with Stephen Ray.
Yeah.
Jackson's Thriller album, interviewing the people that were part of that record. And Dante said, why don't you do some videos to promote that? And that just turned into this. That's the short story on how this happened. He said, just do what you do in front of my friends. That'll play well. Now it's like,
Yeah, I would always
do.
I'd bring a crew up of my friends over to his house for 10 years, and we'd all geek out in the studio, and we'd take it over when he'd be out of town.
Awesome.
Dante,
yeah.
Dante, the amount and the quality of the content you're turning out is extraordinary. So
Yeah.
really well done, my friend. Really well done.
I do have to say, it's one of my favourite channels, if not the favourite channel. Every time a video comes out, always watch it, because it's always educational, informative, entertaining, cool, funny. It's all of the things that you would want. And as you said that, you were doing this podcast, and that's how I first came across you in terms of this whole social media thing, because I was thinking, wow, we're going to get this podcast. It's going to be about Thriller. It's going to be by the guys that were involved in it. Who wouldn't want to listen to that? And I remember talking about it and bigging it up on the show. Was it a couple of years or so ago? And then the whole YouTube channel started, and I'm like, oh wow, we're going to get to see all this stuff as well. And then it's literally snowballed. I mean, there's the definition of a YouTube snowball right there, isn't it?
I mean,
I've been telling my dad for years, you just got to get out into the world and present all this to people, because there's a lot of valuable information and stories that need to be heard.
Exactly. It needs to be documented. This stuff, it needs to be documented, without wanting to sound morbid and morose. We're beginning to lose some very important people from back in the day. And if we don't document this stuff and we document it well, then it will just get lost. So my hat's off to you for doing that and for sharing your knowledge and your stories. And I hope you're around for a very, very long time to tell us more.
Thank you. And I really want to just put a period on that point by saying I had some of the best mentors, and that was more common back then, because you could go to sessions and spend months, literally months and portions of a year. And my mentors were Quincy Jones, who I did a ton of different things with besides Thriller, movie things. Giorgio Moroder, I worked with Giorgio for 6 or 7 years doing all of his arranging and transferring his music to orchestra and scoring the films and that sort of thing, and making the tracks for the hit songs. Jack Nietzsche, who I did 4 movies with. I learned like the whole Phil Spector thing from him. And Arthur B. Rubinstein, traditional orchestration.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
First person that ever used digital synthesis in a movie. And we were doing it with a synclavier locking up, and we had real strings and real orchestra that had never seen anything like this, and union issues that we had to go through, all of that, MGM. But the point is to bring that back, that mentoring thing. And we're here to sell full dump. I'll reveal everything. And I think it's really important, because I want this generation to be able to change our diapers. take the music to the next level. It didn't
Yeah,
end in the 80s
absolutely.
and the 90s. The stuff that's ahead of us has got to be the best we've ever done.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to come and talk about the very thing that you've taken time out of your day, both of you, and we really thank you for that. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But you did mention there, and I just wanted to get a quick word from you, if you don't mind, about the late great Quincy Jones, who departed this earth a couple of weeks ago. And I saw the other day that he won that Oscar, and he'd got his speech ready and everything, but he wasn't able to make it, obviously, and his daughters and his son came up to accept it, and he was an absolute monster, a mountain of a man, in terms of everything that he did for music, from James Bond films to other big movies, and of course things like Thriller and Off the Wall and all of that stuff. Could you just maybe give us a few words about your memories of Quincy and what he meant to you personally?
Well, the first time I met him was on Thriller, and I was greeted by Quincy with a hug, which I wasn't used to that, because back then people didn't really hug each other. It was like before rap. And that kind of set the tone for me, because I thought, wow, this is a different vibe in this studio. And I think it's just sort of like you get accepted to be in an environment that's sacred, and your ideas are accepted, even though you're new to the whole thing. And he was like a director back then, and he cast people. And once he finds your thing, then he'll keep coming to you and really value your input. And I just felt like I was accepted into this team of people, and I learned from him, like, really how to have a loving situation in music, because it wasn't about any negativity. Even if he wasn't going to use your track, and Bruce was allowing him to have. And the other thing about Quincy, he was like, we look back at, like, say, well, that was it was great how they did music back then, like old school. But it was entirely new school, because no one was recording on 24 times 24 times 24, and even sometimes times a fourth 24 amount of tracks. And being able to just do that and paint in that kind of way, because he was like an artist in that way. And that's how he produced. He produced by directing characters in a movie, and he thought cinematically. And I think that's where my point of entry was, that because I came from film.
Yeah.
Had my cinematic thing, and that was the vibe. And I went on to do other things with him. But I would say that the most about him is the love in the room always, and the positivity. And it showed in how many people he knew. Yeah. In life, and call on. And even one time I went on his recommendation, to the island of Capri in Italy.
Oh yeah.
And every restaurant I went in had a picture of Quincy. It just seemed like everybody loved the guy. Like, it was food related stuff. So
brilliant. Yeah.
I remember I saw one of your interviews with Tom Barlow, was it?
Yeah, Tom Baylor,
the vocal arranger, and I just loved the story he told about meeting Quincy, about how Quincy found him, but also about how he immediately, within 10 minutes, he was, he became a lifelong friend, kind of thing. And I've always got that sense from all the people you interview, that there is that real love going on. Once you click, and you're there for life, kind of thing.
Yeah, the one thing I've noticed from all the people sharing their memories of Quincy, that word love comes up so many times. That he gave love, he received it, he shared it, he spread it around. It's all about love. And I think his his daughter Rashida, when she took that Oscar on his behalf last week, so if you go onto YouTube and just look for the Oscars channel, and you'll find Rashida and her brothers and sisters accepting this award on behalf of her father. And there's so much love in the room, and it wasn't a dry eye in the house. I must admit, I was getting a little bit misty myself, because his music. And the one thing I love about Quincy Jones is that you can go through life and still to this day not realise that he had his hand in that particular piece of music that you like, and you just didn't know, and then it just turns up and it's produced by Quincy Jones, arranged by Quincy Jones. A remarkable man. Thank you for those words. It's really great to hear that from somebody who worked with him closely.
Yeah.
Anyway, we only have Anthony and Dante for the first hour of the show, so news will be coming after. Also in the second hour of the show, we've got another episode of Synthspirations, where one of our viewers tells us which records and pieces of music inspired them to make music with synthesizers and electronic technology. So that's coming up. So that'll be in the second half of the show. But right now, we are just beyond honoured, and I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's proverbial here. We are beyond honoured that Anthony and Dante have chosen us to kind of announce to the world this brand new project. And I guess really, who wants to go first? Do you want to go take it first, Anthony, and then maybe Dante can sort of drop in and do that?
And tell you what it is?
Tell us what it is. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, I've been asked for a long time to come up with a synthesizer course. And so I finally did. And it's an extension of what I did when I was like in my late teens. I actually taught synthesizer to the pianists that were trying to get gigs when they had synthesizers in like the pit orchestra. Like the musicals, like the Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals and that sort of thing. Like, I've got to learn a Mini Moog or a Prophet or whatever. So I would teach these guys, and I had like a lot of name, students, Randy Kerber and Brad Fidel and Sergio Mendez and all these people that just, I want to learn. And I started when I was 16 teaching synthesizer, and it was the method I learned from Clark Spangler, who learned from Paul Beaver. Yeah. And also Manny Fernandez was a student of Clark. Clark never let me forget that, because he said, this guy's breathing down your neck. Yeah. Manny and I are friends. And Manny is a consultant on the course. We ran some of the definitions by him. But it's a lot of fun. And I brought Dante in. He's next to me. So it's like teaching to someone. So there's a fun dynamic. But it's very extensive. There's a lot of really high-end graphics done by Bo Bonetti, a part of my team. A lot of care put into that. Synth knowledge, tips that are like pro tips of things that can get you out of the jam, how to track the patch chords. I use the ARP 2600 to teach because it's very visual, but a lot of close-up and block diagrams. So you learn how to write your patches out in block diagrams, and step by step, they'll show up on screen as I make the patches. So it's very extensive, but it's fun. And then there's quizzes and homework for each lesson. 24 lessons right now. I think we'll expand on the course, but it's right out of the gate, and it's the course I learned, and it's basically the exact method that I've used on hit records and films over the last 45 years. It's like, that's what I do. I don't remember everything. I follow a method, and that's how I can recall this stuff. Gotcha. And that's what we want to bring to you. What do you say?
I mean, that was pretty well said.
Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, it was just so much fun to like kind of go through the process of being a student again for the course and really just expand. I come from more of a background of like pop songwriting and production instead of like hardcore synth programming. But it was really a eye-opening experience to be there for every moment of this course and kind of like reteach myself the fundamentals, kind of to my dad's spec. And it was an eye-opening experience just being there. I bet.
It's when you told me about this, I thought. I mean, first of all, I thought, who better than to teach us? Because I'm an educator myself in my day job. I'm a trainer and an instructional designer, and so this kind of stuff really pushes my buttons. And I know that I watch your videos, Anthony, and you are so kind of down to earth, affable, accessible. You don't speak in complicated terms. You just bring it a simplicity to everything that you do. I thought there's nobody better to do this. So why don't we? And this is a world exclusive. We're very lucky. This literally came down the line 20 minutes before we went live on air. So thank you, gentlemen, for working long and hard and getting that to us. Let's watch some like a highlights reel of what you can expect from this course.
Think like a synth.
There you go.
In this video, I want to show you the sample and hold generator. It will help you navigate into the land of Mario Brothers.
Let's go.
Sawtooth or square?
The square.
Square.
Yeah. That's a different Mario sound.
It's a different Mario. Because without modulating the filter, listen. the filter's not tracking.
Yeah.
But if the filter's tracking, it talks more. You hear it's like,
Yeah, it's way more expressive sounding.
Mas Mario. And then this is the speed of the sawtooth wave. That is the sample source. So it's going to sound, yeah. You got to get that faster. If the clock is faster than the source, there you go.
That's 100% another Mario sound.
You nailed it.
That was sick.
It's a sine wave oscillator,
Yeah.
right? Because it's just
like
going to
a
be...
pretty pure one, though.
It's a pure one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the cutoff frequency, whatever the cutoff frequency is. And I can give it vibrato, like we've talked about LFO. If I just take a low frequency sine wave from oscillator 2 and I modulate the filter, and then a little less. Put some portamento, like you were saying, a theremin. There we go.
Yeah.
I can get the clock to do that. So I can replace the gates and triggers from the keyboard like that. So now I could do things like...
Like if you were to plug in an external sequencer, it's just a clock, and then something to control the pitch, voltage for the pitch.
Yeah, and they call it steps. And at each step, you can have a different voltage that can be going to either pitch, timbre, or volume on each step of the sequencer. And then the clock steps it. And that's a sequencer. And I'm using the clock, right? This internal clock in a different kind of way. I'm going through the lag processor, and then I'm modulating pitch. Well, see how I'm softening it? So I'm taking the edge off the clock,
Very cool.
right?
You're smoothing it out more into like a sine wave.
Right, here's our square wave, right? It's got really hard edges. So I'm going to try to soften up these edges, right? Soften them up. So it's going to be more like this, kind of square, but it comes up like this. It's not like a perfect kind of sine wave, but
Sure.
it just softens up what would normally be square here. You can see how that would normally be square, and down here too. So I'm going to take a sine wave and put it into the VCA. It's going to be in low frequency, right? Take the output of the VCA into this first oscillator, and then we're going to hear the first oscillator, sawtooth, just like we've done before, straight into the mixer. Right? So we hear it, and then the envelope generator is going to modulate the VCA that has the low frequency sine wave in it, right? So we hear oscillator 1, and when I play a note at this amount, I'm hearing oscillator 2. So
You got your little mic there.
yeah, I got my little mic
Never heard you on vocals.
from the early 60s. You never heard me on vocals, but you will today. Because if I didn't do that,
You can hear it closing.
keep that patch and follow the shape of a little drum machine. This is a very early drum machine before the 808.
And there's some spring reverb too.
Now put some envelope follower. Popping. Speed up the hats. You know what a ring modulator does?
No.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, I think that's probably the case for a lot of people. I'm going to make it simple. First of all, it takes two signals to work. If you only have one signal, you don't get anything. So now I'm going to take the output of the ring modulator. It's just two signals going into this thing, right? They each, see the arrows? They each go into it. Now I have one output, and I'm not even going to filter it for now. I'm just
We're
gonna
just hearing the ring modulator.
right to a mixer. That's it.
Sounds great. Here, let me slide them around. I might get a better feel for it then. Okay.
You hear it. You hear
100%.
the difference.
I feel it.
Yeah, it's kind of like changing resonance. It gives you that vowel sound, and it gives you that sort of like rubbery back and forth thing, like a sine wave. That's how it is in my mind.
Sure.
But it's really good that you grab the faders because that's what you have to do. Listen to it before we even try to do anything.
Experience it. Yeah.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Experience is better than listening to it because that includes listening to it. But it's taking us. To me, experiencing means listening to it, but breathing with it, taking a step back, and processing and trying to understand it.
Sure.
You know, like when somebody is talking to you.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Do you know, I said to Anthony before we came on the air, I said, shall I just show a little bit of the video or shall I show the whole thing? And he said, totally up to you, man, totally up to you. Well, we played the whole thing because it's brilliant. It's such a cool, relaxed way of learning.
And you do know you have just sold about 10,000 2600s.
Well,
Do you know what is no? Do you know what is freaky? For 4 hours this morning, I was calibrating and testing 2 Tonus 2600s and doing pretty much exactly that.
With the balloons as well.
Yeah, for 4 hours this morning, and I'm watching this and I'm going, "This is a busman's holiday. This is me this morning."
Yeah.
Maybe apart from the microphone.
So my first question, I'm going to ask you to tell us about the course, where we can get it, etc., etc. You're using the 2600, which is a brilliant choice, and Dina is in the chat, and she says hi, by the way. It's an absolutely fantastic choice because, you know, Alan designed that as a teaching synth as well as a playing synth. It was, you know, it's the ideal thing. Not everybody, unless your name's Kent Spong, has got access to one or more of these things. Will this work if, say, for example, you buy Cherry Audio's 2600 or another software version of this? Can somebody with a software version of this follow along easily with this?
I have to answer that. I mean, not only that, but I used the 2600 for all of those keyboard players, pianists that had to learn a Mini Moog or a Prophet. I taught them on the 2600, and it freaked them out because it looks so cool.
Yeah.
See it, right? There it is.
Yeah.
But it's easiest once you start getting into it to get your hands on it and patch it because you physically make the connection. It's like touching it and you remember what's going on. And the way I teach it, pitch, timbre, duration, amplitude, right? Oscillator, filter, envelope generator, VCA. And you hear that over and over and it ingrains it. So you should be able to do this, and I've proven this because I've taught this way for years, that by looking at the panel and seeing the audio path going horizontally and the control path going vertically, which you can do on the 2600, it will ingrain that in your brain. And when you're on any synthesizer, you'll be able to do that. And then you'll be able to program with your heart because you'll understand intellectually. That's what I think.
Yeah, I one of the things I really liked about that clip, and I'm going to come back to you in just a moment, but you flashed these little quick tips up on the screen, and there was one quick tip that said, just come up with a name, because you were talking about the ring modulator and the kind of what did you call it, the rubbery bits?
Bouncy.
What a brilliant way of just like fixing it, and because visualizing is a great way of learning, and not everybody learns the same, but that is a fantastic way, because then it's just you can communicate in a language that is not too technical and everybody gets it.
Back to Quincy, right?
Yeah.
First arrangement I did with Quincy, he said, "I'm thinking of something kind of blue." And I learned that because then you could explain it a little bit more or allow for some questions, but it leaves it again. It's like the thought and the imagination, I think, is so much more powerful. It's like why music is good, because you hear the music and then you remember the experience from grade school or something, like that, right? The music you heard back then. I think the same thing. When you touch it and actually make the sound and you experience it, you have a much higher chance. I mean, Live Nation runs their whole company on that, on the experience, right? Because you take that experience home from the show and you think about it and it stays with you, and then you want to repeat it, in your life, and then you want to go back again, and it sustains their business in that kind of way. But I think that's what works, is creating an experience. That's why we ended the video with that part of it, so that you remember this stuff and you don't have to think. Like, I'm not a technical person at all. I mean, I don't really know how to do stuff on computers. I never have been. It kind of fools people, but I am from my heart ultimately, and I just memorize the stuff in my head so that I could work from there, because that's what can do things that affect people.
Yeah, you remember paths, don't you? That's what it is. You remember what's really clear from the video. And also from you were asked, Robbie asked whether or not someone with a soft synth could use your method, so someone with a 2600 soft synth. The answer is yes, because you're teaching people about the path. As you said, it's the signal flow, and then it's control. One way is the signal path, and then it's the control of each of the elements. And that you're creating a very visual guide to this, and both Robbie and I have been involved in e-learning for a long time, and you're doing a really good job with this. You're doing a really good job,
and Dante adds the fun to it. You know what I mean? It keeps lifting you, because you need that too, because it's intense for your mind.
You need little notes. The little notes. Up.
You need a foil, and something to bounce on, especially on video. If you watch a video of just one person talking at you and explaining stuff, you're going to get somebody that's going to ask the questions, the obvious questions sometimes, but nobody's going to ask that. And Dante's there to, as a foil. I mean, Dante, how did you feel? You've been hanging around your dad for years. Did you actually learn lots of stuff when you were doing this?
I mean, I learned a ton, and I think I would always ask questions that I wanted to run into the studio with the next day, to use on songs that I was going to be making immediately. Because that's my perspective and my point of view on it, is how am I going to use these tools in my productions immediately and fast? And I think that's a big concept for the course, was being a Rosetta Stone to translate colors and feelings and rubbery sounds into synthesizer terms.
Yeah.
And I think that inspired the name of it. Think like a synth. Get people in the mindset of thinking in synthesizer.
Yeah, because it can be difficult, but it can also be quite easy to do. Once you've got those foundational steps, then you can just go off on your own and learn this stuff. So Anthony, tell us. We know the name of the course. Think like a synth. How can people access this? When can they access this? What's the criteria? Give us the sales spiel.
Well, we're announcing it today, and then Monday we should be launching the new website, AnthonyMarinelliMusic.com, which is the same name as the website we have now, but it's just it has a new look, and there's a learn more button on there, and you can learn a lot more things about the course, and there's another video and a little speech, and if you don't know about me, you can read a little bit about that and why I did it, why I made the course. And then you can also get it on Black Friday, which is the 29th, so it's the end of this coming week. It's a pre-sale, so we're offering it 35% off for the people that are going to get it early, and then we'll have it out for you to actually start using on December 21st.
Wow, cool.
So basically you're supporting us for 3 weeks to get through this last phase. And then after that, I guess it'll probably go more to full price. We're hoping that it does the things that you guys are saying. And Think Like a Synth is about learning a language, and like Dante compared it to Rosetta Stone. Like they tell you you don't want to be translating when you're talking a language. You want to think in the language.
Yes.
And that's what it is. So synthesizers are more about just it's a romantic language. We want to add it to the beautiful languages in the world.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So people will be able to go to the website and pre-order this and then access the course directly from the website. Will there be will your channel be showing like clips and little highlights, teasers to get people enticed into this?
Yeah, there'll be a video that's coming out hopefully on Monday. I think so. We're still working on all of this stuff. And we still have our normal videos. And then I guess we could announce the release of our big video. Dante, you want to announce it?
We are releasing the Thriller recreation video with Greg Fillinganes on Black Friday on the 29th.
Wow.
And it's like a full bottom to top recreation with my dad and Greg on all the original instruments. Every part we could think of, probably 30 unique parts, including the drums. And we also brought in a guitarist and a brass section, fleshed the rest of it out.
Wow.
Ben Rackless, our engineer, has probably spent 2.5 weeks trying to match Bruce's mix on the thing.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm really excited about that one.
And that's coming on the YouTube channel, yeah?
It's coming out on the YouTube channel. We'll probably have a teaser for the course Monday, and then on Friday, we'll have the Thriller recreation.
Fantastic. It sounds amazing. So, everybody, if you haven't already, I'm sure most of the people here have subscribed. You can go to Anthony's YouTube channel there. There it is, Anthony Marinelli Music. As you can see, I'm subscribed and get my notifications every time something comes through. I mean, there's some amazing content. I love the stuff you did with Bob Margouleff because, Tonto and Stevie and all of that, huge influence on me. There's some great content on there already, wealth of it, and there's going to be some new stuff, and I really can't wait for that Thriller breakdown and the whole recreation. That's just going to be fantastic.
Look for Bob's memoirs, because he sold his memoirs on the YouTube video interview that we did.
Yes.
The company that bought Simon and Schuster is going to be putting out his memoirs. So
awesome!
I'm so happy for him on that.
Yeah.
And if I could leak one more thing, Dad,
Sure.
do you want to talk about the next video with Russell and Mike?
Sure.
Who wants to talk?
I'll let him take it.
Okay, go then.
Yeah.
Oh, me. Okay. Well, we have basically a live jam with Mike Dean, and I'll just show you. We had these two big Moog modulars. This is my 1969
Yowzers.
3C, and Mike had Rob Rosen's from Rosen Sound, 1973 55, and then we had in the middle of us Russell Holzman, who's Star Power drummer. You can check him out at Star Power Drummer, who does a lot of drum and bass recreations, and he plays like these crazy edits and that sort of thing. And we just jammed with him and did a bunch of music, and we talk a little bit about that. So you'll hear some of the stuff in action. We have a new studio, so we're going to, in 2025, want to do a lot of more playing, because the music, the instruments are designed to be played too, not collected. I'm not a collector.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. That's fantastic.
I think what's really cool about this as well, Anthony, is so many people have grown up just learning this by doing, right? And so there's holes in everyone's knowledge. There's just holes. Unless you're doing it full time, there's holes in people's knowledge. And so having something which goes as in depth as this, and just seeing the video you showed then, there's little things in there. You go, oh, that's what that is. Oh, that's how you do that. It's not that you're stupid or that you're not a professional or whatever, but there's these little moments in there where I was just going, wow, oh yeah, okay. And I think that's brilliant. I think that the old school mentoring was about that.
Yeah.
And with the birth of social media, less of that has happened, that one-to-one mentoring. This is a really, really, really good replacement.
So much, Andrew. I
love
really appreciate that. And YouTube allows for that, Like there's 3 ways to learn, right? The basic one is you just trial and error, and you basically fall off the cliff sometimes, right? You just make mistakes or whatever. And the second is you read books, and it takes a long time to do it. And the third is you listen to the elder or whatever, like the medicine man or whatever, and he tells you what to do, and it's a lot easier. And then you become your own person after that, and that's the beauty of it. And just like on YouTube, there's like videos on it, like how to like solder a pipe together or something. And it's the perfect thing. It brings that back, that whole like going to the medicine man to learn how to, right? And that's what you guys do. And more that we can connect with each other and be a bigger and bigger community that wants to learn stuff. I mean, it's like the best thing for learning, I think, that's happened ever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been in learning and training for the last 20 odd years. Started off teaching in classrooms. That's always been my favorite thing, because you get to interact with the people. You can bounce ideas off of people. They can ask you questions. But of course, the industry has changed, and the demands of the consumer changed. Everything started to move online. And now, we started doing e-learning and delivering that through a platform, but it only goes so far. What we've actually found in the last couple of years is by expanding our YouTube channel and this is my day job thing. This is not Pro Synth Network. So expanding our YouTube channel, doing webinars where, we can gather people into a room virtually and interact with them and teach them by showing and doing and telling and all of this kind of stuff. The response is huge, and the impact is even greater. We've noticed, because that's the most important thing. Are we having an impact on these people's careers, on their jobs, and what have you? And the signs are that it is, and so this is exactly what you're doing, and it's to be commended. We've got some questions, because I'm very conscious of the time. We've had loads of people making some lovely comments. So this one stood out. This is the man who designed the sounds for war games, saying, "I know nothing about computers." The irony! Oh, the irony!
Because the sound. Yeah.
Dean is saying this looks like such a beautiful teaching course. You're absolutely right. Asco Head prompted me to ask the question, do you need a 2600? But you've already answered that very eloquently. Ben from Musings, one of our moderators, this looks really, really nicely done.
That's thanks to Rob Puricelli and Ben Rackless and Dante, my whole team, everyone that's touched this thing. So
yeah, absolutely. We've also had a donation from one of your consultants. Bless him. He's a regular on our show as well. And he's also a regular in the chat room. This is Manny Fernandez, a.k.a. Dr. Synth. I think he popped in, dropped $10 into the pot. And
That's grift.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
He's buying airtime. No, because obviously we're right in the middle of his working day over there. It's coming up to noon, and he's probably extracting some teeth or drilling holes or doing root canal surgery. But he's a genius, and it's so good to hear that you said that he consulted on this. So that's really cool.
I'm still watching my back, man. He's always coming up on it.
He's always there. He's always there. Yeah. He's been doing some videos on the SY99 on his own channel, and for me that's just like proper nerd out. Love that stuff. What else have we had? Oh yeah, we had a question from Conrad. Do we have a price for this yet? So are you able to tell us how much this is going to cost people?
Yes. The course goes for $449 US. The 35% off price is $290. So it's coming out at around $12 per lesson.
That's great value.
More than that when I was 16. I was $20 a lesson.
It's about 9 hours worth of course material.
Yeah. And when you purchase the course, is it delivered to you weekly, or can you just go in and just
Great question. It's designed totally to do it in any order that you want to. You can do it in the order that we presented, but those tips and synth knowledge things come on. If they came on in the earlier videos, they'll come on again. You're just in that video to remind you, because how many times do you have to tell, like I learned this as being a parent, how many times do you have tell your kid something? As many times as it takes. And that's what I believe in, right? And until you figure out how to tell them the right way, or the way that somebody's going to listen, or the way they're going to just experience it themselves and not need to ask anymore, right?
Yeah.
So you can just target, like if you're working on a project and you just want to use a ring modulator, you could just go there and use it as a tool. And you can also be able to access like the glossary, which has all the synth knowledge, the definitions, the pro tips and all that stuff. So you can keep that handy as a working guide.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what's really cool as well? Someone said, can you use this? Someone asked the question, can you use this on other synths? And we have covered this, again. But the whole point here being that when you describe the workflow for each of them, or what is happening, so you're covering each bit of a synthesizer as you go in. That's me doing something really weird with my camera. Go away.
That's scary.
Go away. Actually, I'm going to go back. So when you describe each part, what That does translate. So if you understand oscillators, you may not have the patch cords for, say, a Mini Moog, or for a Prophet 5, you may not use patch cords, but a lot of those have other ways of modulating and connecting things together. Certainly there are modulation things in synths like the Prophet, and then there's getting up to the PB12s. So once you understand the physical connection between different modules and what they're doing, different parts of the synth, that translates to anything, because you're understanding the signal flow and the control.
Totally.
And so once you visualize that and give it a name, as you say, that translates to just about anything. I've got to commend you on that, by the way. I think it's really, really cool.
Well, it's the only way I can learn anything, and I can learn languages. Like, do I need a verb, a noun, an adjective? Like maybe the filter's an adjective because it colors things. That works for some people. And I when I'm working one-on-one with somebody, I'll go there, because then they'll go, oh, wow, that's simple. And it's like, right. So it's pitch, timbre, duration, amplitude. There's not a whole lot more, right? And if you just know the module to use, it translates to anything. It translates to just being in an elevator and hearing a sound, and you go, wow, I understand that. It's
It also translates to video, by the way.
Well, you can tell us about that.
Well, so can Dante, I'm sure.
Don't encourage him, Anthony, please.
That, Andrew, what you said. I mean, I couldn't have said it better.
Some more comments coming in. Justin Havew, who is a superb keyboard player, visits our show regularly, and is aware of fine vest tops or tank tops or whatever you want to call them. So much so that we named a range of tank tops in our merch store after him. He just wants to say, first of all, great job on the East-West Iconic Library. Which is really, really good. But also, he wants to know, will the course feature special guests in the future? That would be a cool bonus. Are there going to be sort of guest appearances, maybe?
Cool.
You mean if we do add-ons to the course?
Yeah.
I never thought of that. I mean, you guys all want to come down? Let's go.
Love to. I'm trying to persuade my wife that we should go to California next year for our vacation.
So it's like,
who knows?
Come out.
So it's like an ensemble kind of cast thing. Like,
that'd be cool.
I mean, that would be great. Like with Dina, we did something at NAMM where I was just grabbing people out of the audience and talking to them and teaching. I mean, that's what this is supposed to be. And I would love to have people do that even themselves, make videos like copycat videos and put it out there and do it with others.
That's a good idea.
These are all great ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because we were talking to our friend Andy, who is one of our moderators. That I'm not sure if he's in at the moment, but he was there at NAMM watching you do your little your session there with the ARP, and he just said it was amazing. He said the video footage that you see online doesn't do it justice. He was blown away by it. So I'd love to see some of that. Maybe come down to Super Booth again next year. Do something there.
We're going to be at Super Booth.
Look,
the energy of people transcends any of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you can convey like the principles on video.
Yeah.
And when you have people next to you, that's again back to the experience and what you said about Quincy being in the studio with Quincy. He takes you there. Like, what I mean, maybe it's like being next to the Dalai Lama or something. I'm not comparing our course to that, but I'm saying people like that, they just don't even have to say anything to you because they transcend words too. Yeah. And that's what we look for. So these things of interactions with people, like you're saying, you don't have to be a guru. You are, your inner self has knowledge and knows how to learn. And when you're around your friends and that sort of thing, and you just have discussion and have the experience of touching this stuff, you'll all go to the next place you need to go to.
Yeah, absolutely. Kissing the Machine says in the chat, so much good stuff. Could not agree more. Nick says this is to synths what David Attenborough is to nature documentaries. I think that's a great compliment there. Beauty and brilliance, absolutely. Synthesis from the ground up, says Mickey D in Ireland over there. Welcome. We're going to have more from Mickey later on in the show. Less coming that. This is a really good question. Again, Nick's just throwing them in there. He's great for this stuff. Will the course have accompanying notes such as patch sheets? Is there going to be? Is it just video material, or will there? You mentioned homework. I mean, tell us a little bit about what else comes. Wrapped around the course.
At the end of each lesson, there's homework for you to do, and then once you've done that, then there's a quiz that's in the section below the video that you just watched.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to reinforce that you knew what you were doing. There's simple questions on the homework, so you can do the homework and take the quiz. And all this stuff is available like down there under each lesson.
Gotcha.
Along with the synth knowledge, and the block diagrams are the patch sheets for everything that's in
Right.
the course. So you can recreate the patches by looking at the block diagrams. But I mean, I have tons of patch sheets out there that you can always learn from. The ARP patch sheet book is
Oh, yeah.
a thing to learn from by just using that on any synth. And Dina's going to be releasing more of that kind of stuff through the ARP Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking
Oh,
about
hurrah.
that today. You can find it there.
I mean, you did a lot of the patches in the Minimoog book
The
too.
Minimoog book. Let me
Yeah.
show you that book.
We'll just look at the wall of synth.
Trying to
I've
think,
got
is
one
that-
of those.
Is that a G clef?
Hey, there it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm in this book, and I
Yep.
did all the patches for, like, you know, the Herbie Hancock and like 30 of the really famous patches. I recreated them on this Minimoog, the Thriller Minimoog.
Yeah.
And I made patch sheets, and they're all in the book. So if you want patch sheets that I've done recently, you just get this Minimoog book.
I love the fact you just turn your head and go on the Thriller Minimoog. I just
Yeah. Not many people can do that. Let's
many,
be honest.
Not many.
Let's be
I
honest.
didn't expect that. Nobody knew.
There are some available. We have a bunch of free content on Anthony Marinelli music right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's patch sheets and drum samples and a couple other little free things. You can check that out.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
And we'll be updating that constantly.
Cool. Anthony mentioned the Minimoog book, which is available now from Bukes. It's a fantastic thing. I've got mine with my limited dust jacket and everything, and it's a fantastic tome. Really, really great book by Joe Silver, and with many other contributors, as Anthony has mentioned. But it's available now to buy at all good bookstores and possibly some bad ones as well. But there it is, the Minimoog book, available right now. Go and grab yourself a copy. Let's see if we've got any more questions. And we've had a donation from Steve, Homegrown. Thank you very much indeed. Stuff this in one of the holes you speak of. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he's referencing something that's because the show goes by and I forget stuff. But thank you, Steve, and I hope you're enjoying your merchandise. I know Steve got a... What did he get? A T-shirt, I think? Yeah, he got one of our T-shirts. Did I mention we do merchandise, by the way?
Only 7 times. Listen, whilst we're here, can I just make one more little sort of interjection? Dante, it will not go unnoticed that the camera work and the editing on this and the graphics really are very, very good. Both Robbie and I know what a talent it takes to make that happen. So all praise to you, Dante.
Well,
Really.
I wish I could take credit for it, but the course specifically is a lot on Bo Benetti. He's like my dad's day one engineer. How long have you been working with Bo for?
20 years.
20 years. And he's really taken, because I was part of the talent cast of the course, Bo really was the driving force behind producing the course and bringing it to everybody. So I just want to make sure I highlight him.
Oh, absolutely.
Drew up
Yeah.
a lot of the set for how we were going to shoot it, the camera angles, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Dante, just credit to you though on the YouTube videos, because that's all you directing and angling, that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, we learned a lot of this stuff on the fly, and these guys learn stuff fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say a lot of the course and the YouTube channel inspiration are just like, midnight conversations between my dad and I trying to bring to our audience what we find interesting. And I never want to lose sight of that. And I never want to lose sight of like the idea of being a mentor for this generation. Because I was lucky enough to have it with someone like my dad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's a real gift to share that beyond with the rest of the world, and we are very appreciative of it. We're coming up to the top of the hour. We're going to have to let you guys go because you're busy. You've got to get this course out there and ready. And
Get on with it. Come on.
Listen, guys. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. I hope that you come back again soon. I'm going to put this invite out there because then everybody knows. You remember last year we did our little kind of New Year's thing, and we just said to all of our previous guests, drop in, and you were like one of the first people to say, yeah, I'm there. We're going to do that again this year, so I'll let you know. come in and let us wish you and your family a happy Christmas and a happy New Year as well. But the very best of luck with this course. I don't think you'll need it, because it's just gonna go gangbusters, and I think you're gonna get a lot of people signing up for this. I can't wait to see it, and thank you again for choosing us to announce it to the world. We are deeply honoured and very privileged, and thank you both. What have you got lined up for the rest of the day? You're back into the edit now and just finishing things up?
Well, yeah, we got Ben here. Like, I could just move the camera.
Oh, wow, there you go.
Not at it.
Ben.
Awesome.
It's all on him. No pressure.
No pressure at all, Ben.
He's getting Thriller right today.
You know.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff.
That's so weird. We just go back into it. You know.
Yeah.
Fun.
And you said you're going to both be at Super Booth next year?
We should be. I think so. We like walking around that place.
Yeah, it's great.
And NAM. We'll be at NAM.
Cool.
Not
Oh yeah,
sure
because
which day
NAM's
it's
before. Yeah.
Well, we're doing a panel with Dina. It's with
Oh, nice.
Mark Isham, the Stranger Things guys. I hope.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Cool.
And I'll
And
be on
that's-
the panel, and it's through the ARP Foundation. So
Awesome. Well, I'm sure Dina will fill us all in and give us the stuff to tell
there'll be
everyone about
proper
that.
announcements on that.
Yeah,
You guys,
fantastic.
we value you guys a lot, and we really appreciate this enthusiastic feedback. I mean, we weren't really sure, so I mean, you guys are very knowledgeable. We think that you would be a tough audience because you guys know this stuff, you know, every aspect of all of your pedigree. So really, thank you. That's great encouragement for us.
I was
Very
going to ask
kind of you
if
to say.
Kent had any questions at all before we cut loose, as it were. Kent, have you got anything? Because you've been very
No,
quiet.
I mean everything's absolutely perfect with it. There's nothing to add. It's perfectly laid out.
Yeah.
Because I was when I was watching the going through the different aspects on that 2600 tonus, I'm looking at it and going, oh yeah, I forgot you could do that.
Yeah.
I haven't done that for years. Why haven't I done that? I should do that again. I mean, it's sort of like I completely forgot about doing that.
Well, Kent, we should do a throwdown or something. It's like, make me a 7-note chord. That type
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
stuff, like, have fun. That's what I encourage everybody to do. So
yeah,
glad-
exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Have
Because
fun,
you get
yeah.
you get into a mindset, especially when you're doing the calibrating and testing, you fall into this mindset of being able to. You have these certain hit points you have to reach to know whether the machine is finished and ready to go out the door. And unfortunately, I bring a lot of that with me when I'm doing sound recreation in the studio. I'm literally actually setting them up to be like test pieces rather than actually exploring the sound more than I should do. And was watching that and going, no, I need to step away from the work side of this and approach it and become a different person and approach it from a different. So thank you for that. You've opened up a door that's been stuck for a few years.
It's like moving through your head down into your
Yeah,
heart.
you literally just kick the door in. You go, that's been stuck for years.
But it's very
Ooh, the
important.
smelling
You said have fun.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely key to learning. If you're not having fun, you don't want to learn. You just switch off. You can't wait for it to be over. Have fun. My boy's doing his driving lessons at the moment, and the first thing I said to him as he went out the door, I said, have fun. And he turned around and said, fun? I'm scared. I said, no, enjoy it. It's fun. Trust me, it will be fun. And hopefully he'll pass, and then he'll move out, and we get a bedroom back.
7-note chord. Guess what I'm
7-note
going to
chord.
be looking at?
There
Guess
you
what
go.
I'm going to be looking at? Yadda-dee-dum.
Can be done.
Gentlemen, Anthony and Dante Marinelli, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for coming on. We'll be in touch. The very best of luck with the course. Take the greatest of care, and we'll see you all soon.
Great rest of show. See you
Take
soon.
care. Bye-bye.
bless.
See you soon.
Look after
Bye,
yourselves.
Dante. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Guys.
There you go, the Marinellis.
Hey,
I can do this now, I think.
do your clappy thing. There
Is
you
that
go.
coming through? There you go. We're back in the room with all of the sound effects. All right, okay, enough. Thank you. Wow. Can I go home now?
you
Well,
want.
it feels a bit like that, doesn't it?
It does. It feels like an anticlimax now. Just coming down off of that.
Yeah.
That looks excellent.
It does. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be really, really good. It was so close though, because Anthony said, "I'm going to get you a video." It was going to, like a highlights reel, and it got to about 5 p.m. here, and I'm like, still nothing. And then about 5:30, I think it was, I get an email saying, "Can we get it to you by about 6:30?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can do." And then, of course, they don't do things by halves. That was only a 6-minute clip, but it was a fair few gigabytes, I'll tell you. And so I was just like, "Please, internet connection, please." And it did, of course. And there we go. It's just amazing. What a cool idea. And it's just, it seems like a natural progression from, what he's been doing for the last sort of 18 months, 2 years.
He's such a good teacher. And, and that's what you remember good teachers, don't you? And he, he's also got the kudos, the people. So there's all the touch points, all those touch points.
Everything's
so
there.
I'm looking forward to it.
And what I would suggest is people go out and buy. I mean, we mentioned, can you do this with any synth? And yeah, you can pretty much. But there are a number of synths, a handful of synths that use that sort of left to right signal flow. And the ARP 2600, as I'm sure Dina will attest, it was designed so that people could, you didn't have to patch it, because it was all, it was all connected behind the faceplate there, but connecting it with, it just embeds that thing in your memory. It's a great teaching synth. It's a really great teaching synth. So I would say, go to Cherry Audio, for example. There are other 2600 software plugins and hardware instruments, but for what Cherry Audio charge you, get one of those if you haven't got an actual 2600, and use that. What a great thing. What a great thing. So I hope everyone enjoyed that, and it's going to be a bit of a letdown now for the next hour, because it's just us doing the regular boring stuff. But no, we have got some cool things to talk about, and I don't really know where to start. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's have a little breather. We can stop talking for a little while and have a drink and maybe go and use the facilities. Shall we have our this week's Synthspirations? We'll do that.
Absolutely.
Let's precede it, of course, with the promo. We want to know what music inspired you to make music with synthesizers. Be it an album, single, or an entire artist's body of work, we want you to tell us why it inspired you, and given that we're a synth show, which instruments used on that album really made an impact. All you need to do is film yourself talking about your synthspiration for a few minutes, and we'll feature it on the show and discuss it. Send your video clips along with your name or handle to prosynthnetwork@gmail.com using a file sharing service like WeTransfer, and you could feature on a Pro Synth Network live show soon. It's true, you can. That's all you got to do. All you got to do is sit yourself in front of a camera. It doesn't have to be professional. It just be your mobile phone or a webcam, or as long as we can see you and hear you, that's all we need. And just tell us what inspired you, what pieces of music inspired you. And the whole point of this is we get to learn about you, and we might learn about some music we weren't aware of, and then we can go off and find that. And the other thing that we can get from it is a 3.5-4 minute toilet break, which is the most important thing. And this week,
men of a certain age.
Indeed, yes. This week, a very old, I don't think you'll mind me saying that, a very old dear friend, old because he's been a friend for a very long time, has sent in his synthspirations. He's from Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland.
Which part of Wales is that? From that accent.
He's from the lovely part of Ireland called Newry, although I've never been, but he tells me constantly. He tells me it's fantastic. But I've known Mickey for a very long time, and so none of this stuff is a surprise for me, but it might be for you. Ladies and gentlemen, this week's Synthspiration comes from one Mr. Mickey Dodds.
Hello, Pro Synth Network. This is Mickey Dodds. Right, so we are discussing our synthspirations, albums or tracks that basically changed our lives and made us want to get synthesizers and make music with synthesizers, basically getting us all moist around the gusset, as Rob would say. About synthesis in general, well, in 1983 when I was 10, whilst being driven to primary school by my dad, On the radio was a track that just blew my tiny 10-year-old little mind. That track was Love on Your Side by the Thompson Twins. The opening sequence of that track just made me go, what? Yeah, that I can remember the moment vividly. It's taken from this album. Oh, here we go. I have it on my battered old played out 41-year-old vinyl. Quick Step and Sidekick. You can see it's just covered in sellotape. It has been played to death. Unfortunately, it's full of scratches. But I have got myself a newer vinyl that is in much better condition, plus all their other records as well. The production on this album is just pure synth pop gold. From the Prophet 5 synthesizer, a bit of Fairlight, Oberheim OBX-A, or the OBX. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Tom Bailey was just a master of songwriting back in the day. What stands out for me really is the drum machine. Apparently it was the movement drum machine, which was very much made famous by the Eurythmics because they showcased it on the video for Sweet Dreams. But that movement drum track, whatever they used, the process, it just cut through the mix. It's so punchy. And as a result, we have got a classic album. Yeah, everything about the Thompson Twins, just their animated characters, the way they made their music videos, just as a 10-year-old, it was like, my word. Everybody else was into Kajagoogoo, etc. For me, it started off with the Thompson Twins. Every Christmas after that, I always wanted a synthesizer. Never got the synthesizer because, prohibitively expensive. My parents couldn't afford it. But that all changed when I turned 16, when I got my first job. I saved up all of my wages for months and I bought myself, finally, my own synthesizer. And that was a Korg Poly 800 Mark II. And then I saved up a lot of months afterwards again and got the Mark I. I did it arse to my face, as we say here in Northern Ireland. And that just fueled my want for synthesizers now, and I have a little bit of a collection. Not as big as some of you people's collection, but enough so I can actually make my own music, and I do. I record under the name of A-Sign. You can get me on Spotify and other streaming sites as well. But yeah, this album, this is what set me off on my journey to wanting synthesizers and eventually getting synthesizers. So yeah, if you haven't heard this album, check it out. It is amazing. So there you go, guys. That's my syntherations. The Thompson Twins, Quick Step and Sidekick.
Thank you very much. Oh, there you go. Thank you very much, Mickey. I'm a big Thompson Twins fan. Just had the 40th anniversary Into the Gap arrive through my letterbox today. So yeah, looking forward to listening to that. But yeah, Quick Step and Psychic. I remember. See, Mickey is just giving away that he's considerably younger than me because he was 10 when that came out. I was a bit older, and I remember hassling my O-level drama teacher to lend me the cassette of Quick Step and Sidekick. And the Thompson Twins did this thing where side A was the album, side B was a bunch of remixes, but it made the tape very long, and because it was a very long tape, it would eventually stretch, and I went through about 2 or 3 copies of that, I think, at one point. But yeah, what a great band, and a worthy synthspiration there. So
We Are Detective, what a great track.
I like the stuff on Quick Step and Sidekick, like Judy Doo and If You Were Here, which are kind of I link those with John Hughes, the John Hughes rom comedies that he did. And they always have a 16 Candles, I think was one of them.
4 Candles.
4 Candles. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Thank you ever so much, Mickey. And if you want to do one of those, please do. Yeah, all you got to do is just film yourself. Even you can film yourself filling yourself. But yeah, film yourself doing one of those, and you don't have to do anything elaborate. In fact, next week's one is probably one of the most basic ones that we've had, but it actually really conveys the thoughts and the feelings of this person about the music that inspired them. So look out for that one. We'd like to build up a library of these, and we are, thanks to you guys. Some of you even in the chat excuse me, are doing this. That's the wrong one. They whiz past and they whiz through. So Shaker, welcome, sir. Good evening. Hope you're well. His earliest inspiration is Bollywood soundtracks. Now that is a inspirations I would want to watch. So Shaker, I know you've got a webcam. I know you've got a webcam and you've got some gear as well. So just set it up one evening when you have a glass of wine, sit down, tell us about it. Only has to be a few minutes long, but please do.
My wife would love that as well. So
yeah,
do it.
Because I'm completely not knowledgeable about Bollywood soundtracks at all. So I would really, I'd like that. DL, whatever DL stands for, says he's totally into Pete and Baz right now, and the female vocalist Alex Isley. Again, I have no idea. Get on video. Tell us. Show us. Don't play the music though, because then we get copyright strikes.
Thing is, I was waiting for Kent to do one, but I know he can't think of anyone or any album or any kind of synth that's inspired him. Isn't that right, Kent?
Blank.
Complete blank.
Yeah.
Complete blank.
Yeah. If only somebody was looking over his shoulder to tell him.
Yeah. Yeah, or he had an instrument by someone that was very famous for using that instrument.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or two, maybe.
Or two, indeed.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more I want the other one now.
Our moderator, Andrew Brooks, one of three moderators, and just give a shout out to Andy Brooks and to Ben from Musings and to Andy Synth Addict as well for moderating our chat. Another Sheffield connection, Tom Bailey of the Thompson Twins, was a teacher here in Sheffield before they were famous. Who knew?
So that means that you're going to be famous, Andrew. Yeah.
I must admit, I do feel old now because I was 21 in 1983.
Ah, the croc inside.
Not 10.
Oh dear.
83, I started my studio career.
I was doing my O-levels.
I was already a skilled panel beater by 1983, for Christ's sake. Oh, man.
You'd have made more money if it had stuck with it.
Can I just quickly give a shout out? So this arrived in the post today. There's a publishing company called Hanging Around Books. It says it right there, Hanging Around Books.
Oh, right.
And it's a guy called Ronnie that does these, and he does these little A5 photo zines, basically. This is his first ever large format publication, and it contains photographs by the very famous photographer A.J. Barrett, taken between 86 and 92. As you can see, there are some very synth-influential people on there, and some brilliant photos. And get in quick, because there's only 100 of these, but it's called Hanging Around Books. Go and check that. But I said to Ronnie, I'd give that a plug.
Well done, Ronnie. Love it.
Indeed.
We'll
Good stuff. Right. Let's talk some news.
Surely not.
There's not been a lot. But I tell you what, let's start off with this, because I covered this for Gear News this week.
Before you do anything else, there's someone we were going to mention last week, and we kind of neglected it. Should we get to that first?
Yes.
Can I make the airplane noise?
Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. Let's do this. New on Sinner's Music from Ian J. Cole.
Yeah.
Let's play a little clip of his latest video.
Yes.
I feel we should have put one of those warnings. Warning may contain flashing images before that. So I hope we haven't caused anybody to have a mishap.
Or might scare the crap out of you.
Or that too, yeah. This is the brand new release from the Fraser Syndrome, or it's Ian Cole, but it's called the Fraser Syndrome. Sorry, and it's a new album that is available on Sinners Music Bandcamp. That was a track called "A Beauty Diamond Lipstick and No Mirror." And there is a tale behind that. Apparently, the Beauty Diamond lipstick is the most expensive lipstick ever made. It was like £1.4 million or something for this. It's almost like this banana that sold stuck to a wall this week for 5 point something million.
6 million.
So teenage engineering make lipstick as well, do they?
I know, right? But Ian is a super talented guy. He's also very lovely. I'm not being paid to say that, but he's rather lovely.
Yes,
and so thank you for reminding me, Andrew. We were supposed to show this last week. We didn't. It slipped my mind. It almost slipped my mind again. It was on my list. I'm sure I would have got to it. But there it is. It's on Bandcamp right now. sinnersmusicuk.bandcamp.com, and you can go and buy that from there right now. There we go. Is Ian in the chat? I don't know.
He is in the chat. He's saying he's got Daphne
Oram samples.
Oram samples in there.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've got to say, it's not the style of audio listening that I would normally get on with, but I love what you've done with the video, etc. So I'm going to be getting this. I think it's really fascinating. Well done, mate. Well done.
I tell you what is interesting, because I've experimented down these roads before. It's very, very difficult to do a piece like that.
Yeah.
You think, just throw some sounds together, that'll do it. And it doesn't work. It has to be put together. In some cases, I think there's more work goes into tracks like that than something sort of like melodic, for instance.
Yeah. Well, it's like they always said, Les Dawson, when he played the piano badly, that takes a huge amount more skill.
You have to be pretty talented.
You have to be really talented to do that.
So you're saying that Ian...
I'm not saying that Ian's music is badly. Okay. No, I'm not saying that at all. I realised that as my mouth was uttering the words. He'll sort me out. Don't worry.
Yeah.
There we go.
Lucky
anyway,
you.
Indeed. Let's talk about something that's come out this week. There's not a huge amount, but this is probably the most interesting one. Let me just do this, and then we'll bring this up on the screen. We'll run the video, the little promo video first, to whet everyone's appetite. Here we go. This is new from Korg. There you go. This is the brand new controller, the brand new Nano Key controller from Korg called the Nano Key Fold. It folds up into something that's about the same size as most smartphones these days, and it contains a 25-note keypad controller. Also contains things like chord and arpeggiator applications. There's also a like a pitch fader, and what they've crammed into this is incredibly good. It's all completely USB powered, and you can connect it up to any device that supports USB MIDI controllers, from mobile phones, tablets, laptops, desktops, everything. And this is the really cool thing. You can store 15 different scenes. So if you want to use this across lots of different units, you can set up a scene to work with your iPad and then another scene to work on your laptop. It's a very, very cool little thing, and they say it really does fit into your pocket. It's a very very cool looking piece of industrial design, I think, as Andrew pointed out earlier this week. It's available in 5 different colours: lava orange, alpine green, sand beige, black and white. 110 quid or 129 euros is the price, which I don't think is too bad, actually. So if you don't mind not having full action keys and you want something that will just fit in the pocket so you can whip it out in the aeroplane, so to speak, there you go. Thoughts on this, gentlemen?
Does it have Bluetooth?
No. Not
Does
for
it do
110 quid.
MPE?
Nope.
Then I suggest, for another £100, get one of these.
Little Roly blocks.
Yes. Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm.
As well as USB.
Yeah. Can you put it in your pocket, though?
You have to wear the special trousers.
Oh, okay.
But otherwise, yes. But to be honest with
Fair
you,
enough.
if you double-sided whatnot tape to the top of your laptop, you can carry it around with it sitting on your laptop. To be honest,
I mean, it would fit into a laptop.
If I had the choice between that and that on the shelf, I'd go, her.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Our lovely friend over there in the Emerald Isle says, I'll get one when travelling light. I'm sick of laptop keys when working on chord progressions. Yeah. I think there's definitely a market. There's some people like it, some people won't. What about you, Andy? Do you like this?
Korg have a really checkered history in the past year or so of releasing things that are either stupidly expensive or incredibly cheap, and with the kind of functionality this has. And and they're innovative as well. They keep doing these little innovation things that you kind of go, what? Why has no one thought of this before? I'm going to be getting this. It does support velocity as well. So, I mean, this is 110 quid. The fact that I really can stick it in my pocket. I get the Roly keys thing, but I need to have that in my backpack. This is a really good thing. I can use this with my phone. I can just plug it straight onto my phone. So phone that. I've got a keyboard and whatever.
Yeah.
I think this is a really, really good thing. I think they've knocked it out of the park a bit with this one.
It's a clever little thing, that's for sure. So there you go.
I'd like to know the longevity of the connector between the two halves.
It looks quite sturdy, to be honest, because it's got that kind of. Let me see if I can get a larger picture of it.
Because if there was a weak point in the design, it would be there.
Exactly. So you would
but
think
there's been a lot of work done on foldable phones. So I think probably most of those problems have been at least mitigated, if not entirely solved. But I think they have been.
Yeah, it looks like it kind of has this central piece here, and then the two pieces fold up around that. So that would hopefully that central piece there would stop any sort of excess pressure on that central joint. But I would like to think they would have because
I definitely see I can see the point of this, but personally I'd go a Roly block.
Yeah, absolutely
myself, but I can honestly see the point of this, and yes, it does fold up lovely and tiny.
I'd probably get both, to be honest.
Just don't leave it on top of the cistern in the gents' toilet in the pub.
Yeah,
kind of thing. So where did I put it?
And I can see a bunch of people being sat somewhere, and the phone rings, and they pick that up and go, "Hello."
Yeah.
Can't hear you. Phone's still ringing.
Speak up.
Because but it's nice. It's a nice compact size. I don't know whether I'll have to have a play with one, I think, and see what I think. But it's a clever little thing because it's not just a keyboard controller. It's got all of this, chord and arpeggiator functionality, and the membrane pitch and mod controllers, and 15 scenes, so you can use it around. It looks quite cool. Well done, Korg. Thank you very much for that. What else was new this week? Let's just have a quick look. Oh yes, now very quickly. This you guys don't know about this, but I literally happened upon this about 5 minutes before we came on air, and I thought. We spoke a little bit about the Mac Mini, the new Mac Mini, the M4 Mac Mini.
And
what an incredible piece of computing power that is for 599 quid. Just the base model is incredibly good. But one of the things that people have been picking up on is the fact that the on-off switch is on the underside, even though the vent does lift the unit up, and you can just put your finger. It's not difficult. You don't have to keep picking this thing up. However, somebody, and I just wonder whether this was Apple's choice all along. Somebody on Etsy has decided to make these Mac Mini mounts, and they will stick on the underside of your desk and hold your Mac Mini firmly in place, completely obliterating any issues to have with the power button, because then it's completely exposed. I think that's a really clever idea. It's just like this little plastic frame. Let's just have a quick look through the pictures. I'm clicking on the wrong thing here. There we go. So it just sits there and attaches to the underside of your desk. Nice little piece of plastic there, and there it is, in situ.
25 quid.
25 quid. Made by somebody with a 3D printer on Etsy. And you can get it in white as well if you want a white one. I just thought that was a really clever little idea for something that, problem with the button, don't worry, stick it under your desk. I like that. I don't know. I just thought it was quite cool. Because I know a lot of people are considering. I know Nick Howes. I haven't seen him make a comment yet on this, but I know Nick Howes is going all in on one of these little Mac Minis for some of his projects. Have one of those on your bedside with your Alexa. Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's a watermark, because it looks like somebody just left their boot on it or something.
What's that?
Looks like somebody left their boot mark on it. But it's not. It's the watermark in the picture, isn't it?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean.
It looks like somebody just booted it in there.
See what you mean.
Do it.
See what you mean.
It's in there now.
But I mean, it's a cracking little thing, and I just thought that was a very clever way of.
It's a clever solution to whatever problem it is.
Yeah,
I suppose.
I mean, it's all that computing power in that little box for 599 quid. It's bonkers. Absolutely bonkers, I tell you. But there you go. Anyway, I just thought I'd slip that one in, as the actress said to the bishop. And let's talk about some hardware, actual synthesizer hardware now. No. And this is a do-it-yourself synthesizer, completely open source. It's called the Hog. Right, that's enough of that, because we are running short on time. But this is the Schmurg. Just visions of Crichton in my head. Schmurg. This is the Schmurg Hog.
Okay.
And it is a fully open source desktop synthesizer. The software is open source, or the components, the circuit boards, everything about this is completely open source. So you can go and download this, all the information you need from the GitHub page. But this is the user guide page that we're looking at here. It's a very capable little synthesizer. It's got 2 oscillators. It's a monophonic synth, 2 oscillators with filter, some LFOs in there. It's also got a noise stroke sub oscillator, so you can have one or the other going on. It's very simple, but I love the design of it. And and it has these features. This little feature called the playground mode, which kind of just messes around with different various modulation settings, where you don't really need to know too much about what you're doing, other than it starts having fun and it's sounding good. You can also add a MIDI circuit in there as an extra thing that will add 3.5mm TRS MIDI jacks in the back, so you can then connect it up to whatever you like as well. But yeah, everything's there. There's a GitHub repository. Clicking on the wrong page here. So there it is. You can download all of that, and I mean, I just like the look of it as well. It's just a very pretty thing to look at. So if you're that way inclined and you want to build your own synthesizer, what better way of doing it? And of course, the fact that it's open source means that the clever people amongst us could modify it and do other things with it, and take that circuitry and that principle and come up with some new cool ways of doing it. I just really quite like that. I thought it was very good.
Is it SMT or through hole or what? I imagine it's SMT.
Very good question. I should have done my research. It doesn't say.
I'm just having a look as well.
Yeah.
Possibly SMT then, if it doesn't say. Because if it was through hole, they'd make that known.
There's no.
The thing is, you buy. You buy. I mean, I'm assuming it's free to get the.
Yeah, it's open source. As long as if you make any of these, you just give credit where credit's due.
Is that a picture of the PCB at all? Or?
I don't think these are all.
That PNG file down the bottom.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh, UI board, whatever that is.
Yeah. Doesn't really tell me anything. I don't know.
Doesn't it?
It's pretty colours. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think you're probably right. It probably is SMT.
It's probably SMT. Yeah.
But still, I thought it was a clever little way of introducing. If you are that way inclined, and maybe you've already got some skill in this department, then you can delve in a bit more. There was another do-it-yourself synthesizer. Let me just bring this one up, because this might be a wonderful Christmas present for the modular person in your life. This is the Clacktronics, and this stinks. It reeks of D'Agostino Partworks. Okay, but in a brilliant way, in a really good way. So for 228 quid plus VAT, and it's a limited edition product, you can buy this folder, and rather than having to collect each part every week, and the first part is 99p, and then it's £99 for all the other parts, you can actually get this folder with all the PCBs all in there to make your own Eurorack modules. Lord knows why anybody would want to do that. I have no idea. It doesn't. But it's all there. Everything that you need is in the folder.
Right.
All the PCB boards, as you can see, look, I mean, they've even got the little tabs on. It's just so cool. I mean, I quite like this, and I hate modular. You can also, you have to supply your own bill of materials. Mm-hmm. But if you don't really have much experience in that regard, they'll sell it to you for 45 quid. So you can then get all the electronic parts that you need. And you can also buy the power supply from them as well, rather than sourcing your own. So you can do everything in one place if you want to, or not. You might want to do it yourself, which is the essence of the whole thing. Do it yourself. Could you see yourself building one of these at Christmas after the lunch? And you sit down, you've gone through all your presents, and
no,
you won't get me within 2 miles of a soldering iron once the Christmas holiday starts. I'll tell you that for nothing.
This is true.
But I can see how it would be attractive for some people. I really can see how it would be attractive.
Yeah. How many modules does it make?
10.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, sorry, 12. 12 modules. 12 modules.
Not to be sniffed at. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you get 2 VCOs, a filter, a mixer, VCA, LFO, envelope generators, mults, and a microcontroller. All in that package.
Out of stock.
That's
No.
cool.
It's in stock and shipping today.
Oh. Thought there was something down there said out of stock or something.
No, that's the parts. The parts are currently out of stock, but you can download the BOM and go and source those yourself.
Download the BOM and go and get the parts yourself if you want.
Exactly. Yeah. Power supplies there for £12.50. So once those are back in stock, for around £300, you've just bought yourself 12 modules.
Yeah,
I think
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is really cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find. I don't think I could find any video footage or audio footage of what this thing sounds like when it's built. We'll keep an eye on that. I quite like that. That's
I'm intrigued about that, to be honest, especially with the fact that I can't hear what it sounds like.
Exactly, yeah.
It makes me want to build it to find out what it sounds like.
Maybe that's why they're doing it. So when you put it together and you actually hear what it sounds like, you don't have anything to compare it to, so you don't know that you've done it wrong.
Well, it's a bit of a callback. It's like when I got the Transcendent 2000. There was no YouTube. You didn't know what it sounded like.
No, you didn't.
You just had a picture of it, and you go, there you go. Oh,
yeah.
Well, I can't afford anything else. I'll go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. Clactronics Build Your Own Modular, available from Thonk. I love that name, thonk.co.uk.
I said no, but now I know it's 12 modules. I'm just mulling that. I'm just mulling over that. With these great big hands, how wrong could it go?
I sense a lot of phone calls over the Christmas period.
Yeah.
Ken, I built this and it's not working.
What's a resistor?
And the binder that it comes in is made by a very reputable bookbinding company. It's proper luxurious stuff. It did say here somewhere. I can't. There we go. The binder itself is handmade by Wainwright Bookbinding in London, which features an olive green cloth with gold embossed text cover and inside a beautiful hand marbled paper, each one a unique pattern. The pages are divided by PCBs in the classic green colour with gold plating and has decorative patterns that echo the book. So it's kind of like a piece of art as well as a practical musical instrument that you can build yourself.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
Very good.
So are you getting one, Robbie?
Nah.
I think I'll buy Fiona one for Christmas.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Do you know, that's a really good idea.
She's into that. She would be into that. No, like a pig in the proverbial.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we can do an unveiling. See what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Hurrah.
Very nice. There you go. Thonk.co.uk. It's called the Clactronics Build Your Own Modular. Probably to fit into some people's Christmas stockings. There we go. So, what else have we got? Very quickly, Full Bucket Music have updated Ragnarok from version 1 to version 2. This is a plug-in instrument. It's a collaborative work between Bjorn, who's the guy behind Full Bucket Music, and Hans Peter. And it's a virtual analog synthesizer, 64-voice polyphony, multi-mode zero delay feedback filter, 6, 12, 18, 24 dB per octave, low or high pass. It sounds great. It's a very nice sounding little plug in this. And of course, as with all of Bjorn's stuff, it's completely free. But do make a donation. Please do.
Really
and if you've got a whole bunch of his stuff and you haven't been getting the emails, he has updated a bunch of this stuff over the last few weeks. So go and check that you've got the right version. But Ragnarok 2.0 is out now from Full Bucket Music, and we like everything that they do.
Have you used the Ragnarok?
I had played around with it when it came out the other day, and that's as far as I've gone with it. I haven't really delved into it at all, but I was just flicking through the presets. Sounds great.
Okay. I've not managed to download it yet. I just didn't get round to it, but I will do. Yeah, they always do good. He always does great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We weren't going to feature it, but it is worth mentioning. Asio Head has just told us in the chat that the Valhalla Supermassive reverb plugin got an update today to 4.0 and added a whole new reverb into that box. It's completely free of charge. If you like amazing reverbs, then Valhalla Supermassive is something you should definitely have as a plugin. That's been updated to 4.0 today. So thanks for reminding me of that one, Bert. We have also got something here that's going to be coming soon. What could it be? What could it be?
A Moog Rogue.
A Moog Rogue.
That as well.
Yeah. Maybe. Is it? I could try. Was it Hong Kong Fooey?
Hong Kong Fooey.
Don't you remember?
Yeah, I do.
Is it the so the mild-mannered janitor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could
anyway,
be.
Could be. So yes, new thing from Cherry Audio coming out on Tuesday, I think. Yeah.
Tuesday, all day.
So it might be worth telling people that we might have some guests on the show on Friday.
It
Quite
could
possible.
happen.
Quite possible. It
happen.
could possibly happen.
Has been
Could
known.
possibly happen.
Possibly
Yeah.
happen, yeah.
But we can't say anything more than that.
They're
More than
strangers
that.
to us, aren't they?
Yeah, dead to us.
Dead to us. That's what they are. Never give us anything.
Do you know that I was speaking to Robert yesterday? He's up to his beyond that, because it's not just one thing that's coming out. That's it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, but very interesting, and super cool. That's something new from Cherry Audio. Tuesday, look out for that one. Let's have a look at this. This one's quite an interesting one. This will. I think this is going to be a bit Marmite, but let's have a look. This is the Nap Key Chord. Quite like that. It's kind of a cross between Suzuki Omnichord with the strum plate and typewriter. Actually, I thought this reminded me very much of the auto instruments in GarageBand. I don't know if anybody else is familiar with those, but you select a key and then you can just strum your finger up and down and play. It's kind of got that vibe to it. It's got a built-in synthesizer. And a built-in speaker should you want it, but you can also control it over MIDI and stick the audio into wherever you want. Created by a French guy who has a band called Napkey, which is where the name comes from, and it was designed. He didn't like conventional instruments on stage, so he started to build his own, and he built one of these. The first version was very much like a keytar. I think, in fact, let me just bring up the Kickstarter page, which I know might have some people going, oh, it's Kickstarter. But there is a picture somewhere here. There it is. It was actually originally kind of like a keytar form. But he's refined the design and he's now made it into this lovely little tabletop unit called the Napkey Chord. And it will cost you, so all the early birds have gone, so the Kickstarter pricing is €350, which is what, 290 something quid. He's doing it in the standard black case or the Ghost edition, which comes with a sort of see-through translucent case for a little bit more money, which is always a cool thing to do. So all the early birds have gone. I kind of like this in a way, in an omnichordish way. I always like that bit about the omnichord that you can sort of like strum the notes or just tap them out. I don't know. What do you think?
Kent.
I think if it was half that price, I'd be a lot more drawn to it. Would you believe?
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, yeah, fine. I would like a dedicated output, not a headphone output for the audio. But yeah, it's just it strikes me as a bit pricey.
What you can also do with this, I didn't mention this before, so it has got its own built-in, very simple synthesizer, which you can only just choose your waveform and then the release. That's it. There's nothing else. However,
Sorry, were we hearing the sound of it?
You were hearing the sound of it.
Okay.
However, you can take the MIDI connection and use this to play any instrument with this thing. So it's it's a controller for any instrument as well as its own thing, which then really kind of makes it quite attractive. I think if you've got anything that you want to maybe strum.
It does, but weirdly, what it's doing is it's taking its use more into the controller side of thing than as a standalone unit, which means that it's just as bad on the pricing.
Okay.
If you follow me.
Yeah.
I'd just like it to be a bit cheaper than that, that's all.
I find myself conflicted here for all the reasons that Kent has said, but I really quite like the sound of it, and I quite like it. I'm with you, Robbie. I quite like it. And
I quite like it. It's just that I'm not comfortable with the price.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
which is understandable.
If it was 150.
If it was 200 quid, you'd be even.
Yeah, if it was like 150, 170
How
quid.
much is the Omnicord?
Grab it.
800 and something.
There you go.
I've already got one.
I think this is. I don't think the price is as bad as we would like, but I'm not sure I'd be that unhappy paying this for.
I don't think it's awful, but
No.
yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm broke at the moment. That's what it's doing.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
There is.
Oh,
that.
you're a tightwad. Yeah.
Yeah, if I was a bit more flush, I'd go, go for it. I'll take two.
Of course.
The sound of it.
Yeah.
I like the sound of it.
Being a Kickstarter, obviously it comes with all the caveats that you should be wary of. Please do read the sections called Our Business Plan and Risks, and read through them thoroughly before handing over your money, because we've obviously had just recently AODO went belly up and lots of people lost their money and didn't get a product at the end of it. However, it is worth pointing out that 9 days into the Kickstarter, they've already raised 52.5 grand, which
It's
they
more
only
than
needed
3 times what they originally asked for.
Exactly. So
Yep.
it looks like they're getting a healthy sum of cash for this, but that doesn't mean anything.
And bear in mind that you won't be seeing this before the sun gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So you're looking at what, June?
June
I think
2025,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when they're slated
which is
to.
well, it's only 7 months away. So
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah,
Might be enough time for me to save up money to buy it.
indeed. And yeah, maybe they get to produce enough, they can then bring the price down a little bit for people. Yeah. So who knows? But yeah, I just thought that was kind of nice. That is the Napkey cord. It's available on Kickstarter.com.
I rather like this.
Yes.
I've made my mind up.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if we mentioned this last week. I haven't got any video footage to share, but if you have a Roland Phantom, you can now have the Juno 106 ACB expansion built into it, so you can download that for free of charge, if you own the Phantom, of course. So that's available. What else have we got? We've this. I think all three of us have got ambient zeros, correct?
Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
There are now 4 artist preset packs available free of charge from Sonicware. Just go to the sonicware.jp website and go to the support section and choose downloads, and you'll be able to download these 4 packs. They call them, what do they call them? The palettes, pattern palettes.
Okay.
Each comes with 4 sound patches, and there are 4 there. You just download the SysX file and then upload them through SysX to your ambient zero and play around with those. And there's audio demos there as well. So that's new from Sonicware.
I'll be doing that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice when they give away things, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think the last thing that I was going to do, let me just shut all of this down just to make sure that I have covered
PB?
everything. Yep, that was the last thing. So our friend Scott Macaulay, who is a superb sound designer, let me just get this off the screen. Here we go. Scott Macaulay is a brilliant sound designer. If you're not familiar with his work, then you ought to be.
He's talentless. I mean, just have a listen to. just have a listen. He hardly knows what he's doing.
I know. He's done stuff for OB6, OBXA, Moog 1, Super 6 from UDO, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But his latest thing that he's working on is the one and the only Polybrute 12. And I have stupidly just shut that tab down. What a twonk. What an absolute twonk. Actually, no, it's good because I did actually upload it to the system. Let's have a quick listen to this. This is one of the patches from his new up-and-coming sound bank, specifically for the Polybrute 12, but will also work on the Polybrute 6 to some degree.
Yep.
There you go. That is... Did you know how many keys he pressed?
One.
Did you see? Just one. Just one.
One.
This has, and all the Polybrutes have this ability to allow the LFOs to mess around with the pitch and the oscillators. So you just set those things up and set it up in the mod matrix, and away you go.
Scott is just a genius with that.
Yeah.
He?
I mean, obviously he's designed that sound, but then to program it so that you can literally just one note play if you want it to. You don't have to, of course. But yeah, he's doing some wonderful things, and I think this is the first Polybrute 12 specific bank that I've seen in development that I'm aware of. If anybody else is aware of any others, I'd love to know. But of course, it will be compatible with the Polybrute 6, the original Polybrute, but obviously it won't be able to take advantage of the full 12 voices. So you'll probably get maybe some, on a patch like that, you probably notice some notes dropping out, and you won't be able to take advantage, of course, as the full touch nature of the keyboard, the polyphonic aftertouch, and that extra thing that they do. But yeah, I'm super excited. Now, Scott told me yesterday that he's hoping, but he can't promise, but he's hoping that bank will become available to buy next week.
Whoa.
But he's been, he picked his PB12 up a while ago, and it's, he's getting really into it. But go and check out his YouTube channel, Scott Macaulay Sounds, and you will find some other excellent PB12 patch demos in there. It's very, very good. So very excited. Has that whetted your appetite even more, Mr. Spong?
God, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it might. I thought it might.
I am so getting one of those.
It's a lovely thing.
I know it is a lovely thing.
Apparently,
There's nothing about it I don't like.
apparently
Absolutely
you
nothing.
can also do it on the System 100, the full System 100 as well. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, you could potentially do it on a lot of things, but
But this is just the way he's done that on this. Just the movement on it is delicious. It's glorious.
there's no arpeggiation involved in there. It's all LFOs. One thing, Dave Bessel pointed this out. There was a little conversation going on. It would be nice if you could also then use the LFOs to adjust the different pitch scalings as well, so you can move from one to another and not just stay within the scale that you choose. But it's very clever. It's a very clever synth. Great
I wonder if
synthesizers.
that's possible. I wonder if you could modulate the particular oscillator scale, because it's got lots of different Phrygian and octave fifths and God knows what else.
Yeah, I think
What about
Scott
hitting
had a
different
look.
key.
Yeah, but you're still working within that scale. That whether it's
It does it. It doesn't shift that.
you can't move from one scale to another scale automatically, which would then make for some super generative kind of stuff going on there.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
But and another thing that Scott pointed out the other day was a lot of people have criticised the Polybrute, whether it's the 6 or the 12, over the years for this kind of or it lacks a bit of bottom end. And he says every patch that he's created, he's having to dial the bottom end back because it's got too much. It's honestly, you have to hear one to understand. It's very powerful stuff. Anyway, so keep an eye out for Scott McCauley Sounds Polybrute 12 back if you've got a Polybrute 12. But well done, yep, absolutely,
Great
Scott.
Great
Wonderful.
programming.
Great Scott,
Really
yes.
well done.
Great Scott indeed.
Great Scott. Yeah.
And that, ladies and germs, I believe is a show, as they like to call it.
Is it beer o'clock?
Yeah, it's beer or wine o'clock or whatever it is. I got to say again, once again, huge thank you to Anthony Marinelli and to his son Dante, who joined us for the first hour of the show. If you missed it, where were you? But it doesn't matter because this is YouTube. You can go and rewind it and watch it again. I know I will be. Of course, Anthony's big news was that he launched his brand new educational course called Think Like a Synth. There will be promo videos available on Anthony Marinelli Music YouTube channel from Monday. You'll be able to pre-order it on Black Friday, which is the 29th, and then it will become available about 3 weeks after that. And what did he say? It was 400. It was around $450 for the entire course, 24 lessons.
Yeah, $12 a course.
But with the discount, with the Black Friday discount, it works. It comes down to like 200 and something, and it works out
280 or 290 something. Yeah.
Which, when you think about the grand scheme of things, you're getting a dedicated course from one of the great synthesizer programmers of our time.
9 hours of content.
Not yet 9 hours
plus
of content.
All of the homeworky and the other stuff.
Absolutely,
and people, and you can see how many. He's got people working on this. They've been working on it for 18 months.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
Absolutely,
especially for Anthony.
And I was just expecting like him to announce it publicly and then talk about it on the show. Didn't realise until like 5 minutes before we went on air that this was it. This was the announcement. So give us a thumbs up if you thought that was a cool thing to do. Give us a thumbs up on the YouTube if you wouldn't mind. Right now, do it now. Do it.
I just did.
Thank you. That was Anthony Marinelli and his son Dante with the new course. Oh, and also, is it Monday or next week? I can't remember now. No, was it Black Friday?
Friday.
The Thriller recreation with all live musicians, and that's going to be on the YouTube channel. You won't have to pay for that. It's there. It's going to be there. It's going to be amazing. Greg Fillinganes is involved as well. So it's people who actually worked on the record. Have been recreating it, so fantastic stuff. Don't also forget that we have our wonderful merch store, which is up and running and is going gangbusters, fulfilling orders almost on a daily basis. Loads of great stuff, t-shirts and vest tops and jumpers and coffee mugs and all sorts of different things going on there. I need to stock up on a few of these before
the dress.
the dress. I think the dress would look nice on me, don't you?
No, it looked nice on me. I reckon I'm going to wear that for Christmas. Yeah.
We've sold one.
Have we?
Yeah, we've sold one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order some of these badges and some of the stickers, and I'll be taking them with me to places like Synth East and Super Booth and all the other places. So if you're nice to me, I might give you a sticker or a badge.
We don't need no stinking badges.
I thought what I might do, actually, you see these polo shirts.
Yep.
I thought I might get us each one of these, and then just have like on the back crew or staff.
Yeah.
Staff, that would work.
Yeah.
Chief
Here's
Top Cleaner.
Here's one for your Oasis reunion. Look, the old packable jacket. Phone cases, beanie hats, mouse mats, desk mats, more mugs, the hoodies. I had who was it Matt that was saying our hoodie is really, really nice. It's really like snug and warm.
Really warm.
Yeah.
Who's it in Canada that bought one?
Oh yeah, Jeff. That was Jeff that said it was really snug and warm.
Yeah, he said it's out there. It was sort of 2 degrees or something. He went out with it and he was really toasty. So
yeah, so it's got the Canadian seal of approval. So
Canadian seal. I see what you did.
But yeah, loads of stuff.
What about those other special T-shirts that are now on?
Oh yes, of course, these ones.
And the mugs, which is who's on the T-shirts.
We had the cartoon T-shirts. So we've got the Andrew one. So this is Andrew. There he is. Look, did you know I used to work at Emu?
That's so flattering.
And the Penguin of Death is there as well.
Penguin of Death.
We've got Kent Spong. Rev 2, Profit 5, get in the sea. With all his
Keith
pooches.
Richards is looking very good there.
He
Only
is,
3
yeah.
dogs there. Good God.
Yeah, and he's smoking out of both ears.
I do always.
Yeah. And then there was my one, of course. Ding Dong DX7. There it is.
Dong.
Ding Dong.
Answer the door.
Glass of red wine. That's exactly
That'll be me in about 5 minutes' time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. But can I just say thank you to everyone that has ordered merchandise so far. I didn't realise that you were all gagging for it so much. So it's just been incredible. Everyone that orders something will get, whether they like it or not, a personal thank you from me. And yes, everything, we take a very small cut off of everything, and it all goes into a little pot that helps keep the channel going, along with our Patreon subscribers, our YouTube channel members, and our YouTube super chat, super sticker donation people. So yeah, thank you ever so much. We really do appreciate it.
And what's coming up this weekend? What do we have?
This weekend we've got Andy Synchrotron. He's doing his 10 o'clock in the morning synth jam at the UK time. We've got Ramsey at 1 p.m. UK time. Have we not? Oh no,
it's cancelled.
Yes, he did say last week he wasn't doing it, but I think because he was going to look for a stand-in. I'm not sure if he's got one, but I know that Henrik is doing a senior synth stream at 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
Yep.
And then you've got jamming in Gin Jam. Is it jamming in Gin Jams or jamming with Gin Jams?
Or in Gin something.
Get Jervis. That's all you need to know. Get Jervis. Go and see Jason and Jackson. Honestly, Jackson, we sat here last Sunday night and I put Jackson on the big telly because my wife, she likes cats, and I said, you've got to see Jackson. He's a real star. And he just jumped on the Moog and just had this beautiful chord that then Jason was jamming in his gym jams along too. So, yeah. It was very good.
Different to what Lily was doing yesterday on the pub.
Indeed, yeah, slightly different.
Yeah.
Jackson was being a lot more sympathetic. But yes,
the poly-end synth apparently tomorrow night.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Well, so yeah, we're going to get Jason on the show.
Oh, okay.
Simple as that. We're going to get him on the show.
We've got to steal his smoking jacket off him.
Yes, and Jackson.
Yeah.
And Jackson's very cool. And his gym jams. That would be a bit of a show. Yeah. No, we need to get Jason on the show. But however, we are maybe if speak to Jason, something around the festive period might be doable, because we've got guests next week, and we've even got guests the week after that.
Really?
We're just yes.
What, you paying them now or something?
No, they're coming to me. It's just
Wow.
it's amazing. The tables have turned. They're coming to me now. So yeah, we've got guests next week, which we'll announce. We've got guests the week after, and then we're basically near Christmas. So we'll get maybe I'll sit down with Jason and we'll work out. I'll have my people call his people, and they'll sort something out, and we'll just go. Yes, that'll do.
The week after next, it's not David Bowie, is it?
No,
Unlikely.
unlikely.
Couldn't book
Very
it.
unlikely. Yeah.
Just to reassure people, the PSN desk lamps are coming.
Oh yes, good. Yes, they'll be available on the merch store.
Yeah, and they will be here soon.
Excellent.
Soon.
Anyway, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. That has been a great show. I'm going to go and just drink a bottle of wine now and just get over that awesomeness that was the Marinelli gentleman this morning. The first part of the show. That was very good. Don't forget, Synthspirations. If you want to send in us your video, please do to prosynthnetwork@gmail.com. Use a file transfer service.
Yep.
Few minutes. I'm going to try and do mine this weekend if I get time. I'm going to try and do mine. But I've started writing a list. And it gets longer and longer, and I'm thinking, I can't do this.
I was doing that. I've cut it down to 3, which have an obvious link between them.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. But do it. Definitely do it. Big Jab saying zippered hoodie. I don't know if they do a zippered hoodie. I will look into it. Thank you for the recommend. And if anybody else has any suggestions for merchandise, anything that we can put our name and logo on that you'll buy, then do let us know. prosynthnetwork@gmail.com. And I almost forgot, we didn't do our Rogues Gallery this week. Rogues Gallery of people who have received their merchandise and taken pictures.
We're going to overrun into next week's show.
Who cares?
Really?
There's Ted's Bear, Steve Ward.
Hurrah!
Look at that. Marvellous beard, marvellous T-shirt.
Yeah.
This is Richard, a.k.a. Budget Keyboardist, who often lurks in the chat and watches the show. He's very excited because when we had Jem on, he's a massive Frost fan. There he is with his T-shirt. Danny Vincent. Do you remember Danny Vincent won the Pac-Man jacket?
Yeah.
He's now got Pac-Man. He's Pac-Man. He's got a T-shirt. Look.
As well.
And he's got that kind of maroon one. And he's also got a hoodie as well. So thank you. Yeah, he's super clothed out. And then I got these 4 pictures in from Peter Toll, who is not too far away from me in North Norfolk. He went all out. So, T-shirt, there he is. I mean, look at the studio, by the way. This is a cool studio. So they've got the T-shirt. He's got the mouse mat. Oh, is that the mouse mat or the desk? No, that's the desk mat, isn't it? Baseball cap as well. And a hoodie.
Wow.
Look at that. Those hoodies look rather good. And they're embroidered, by the way. They are embroidered. There's none of your iron-on crap. It's good stuff, that. So thank you very much indeed for all of you lovely people who've bought merchandise and taken pictures. Please do send them in. When your stuff arrives, send them in. We'll feature them on the show. Yeah. Audience participation. God, I love it. One last plug. Here it is. The Think Like a Synth. There's the packaging. Do you think I should sue him for copyright? Look at that logo. Look at that logo. Is that not very much like the Pro Synth Network logo?
It's very much like a sine wave.
Isn't it? I think I'll let him off.
Yeah.
I think his lawyers are better than mine.
Copyright a sine wave, to be honest.
No, I don't think he can. No.
Not really.
No. I'm honoured. I'm flattered. He obviously chose that for a reason.
Yeah, PSN, the flamethrower.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, PSN flamethrower. Yeah,
absolutely.
We should get patch cables, shouldn't we? We should we have to find somebody to do PSN
really?
patch cables.
Really?
Actually, we can take some of the ones that you've got and have them stuck on there and just flog those.
Yeah.
Do some of that.
The PSN unboxing patch cables.
Next up, the Arturia PSN synth. Just putting it out there. You know, you've got to visualize. You know, what was it? You know, the Noel Edmonds thing. You got if you think it into
PSN 16.
Is that how Mr. Blobby came about?
Apparently, yeah. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your company. As always, thank you to Anthony and Dante earlier in the show. Thank you to everyone that watched the show, that participated, sent in comments, that have donated money or bought merchandise. Thank you all. We love you to bits. And, that's a bucket, a PSN bucket. We'll have one of those. Thanks ever so much, and have a fantastic and safe weekend wherever you are. Stay warm, and make lots of music and have fun with it, which is, I think, our key takeaway from today's show. Have fun. And we'll see you all same time, same place next week with some more special guests. But until then, have a fantastic weekend, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.